So this time of year, we are starting some seedlings. We're using red solo cups this time. It's going to be our first time using them. It's a good size. You can see they fit in this tray really nice. Two, they're very inexpensive. You can get a whole bunch of them for not that much. And three, they're a little larger size than the peat moss cups you buy. But they hold up better with the moisture. The peat moss ones tend to get soggy, moldy. They don't really hold up very well. They are biodegradable, but these are recyclable. So we're going to even out our match. What we're going to start with this morning, or today, is this time of year we're going to start with some tomato seeds. We got just ready beefsteaks, and we got some cherry tomatoes. Also, along with that, we are going to start herbs. So we have dill. We have some rosemary. Basil I don't have out here right this second, but I have that as well. And we're going to do some spinach. Spinach is really good this time of year. So is your lettuces, kales, and stuff like that. I'm not really a big kale person, but definitely your lettuces and spinaches. They can take the cold. They can take a light frost, not a heavy frost, so we're not going to put them outside just yet. This is the beginning of March, but we're going to put them out. The back says you can start putting them March through May. They aren't good for hot, so you want to spring and fall. And then other things that we are going to start today are, we're going to get two different types of eggplants here. We have some Black Beauties and Shooting Stars. The Shooting Stars are about the same size as the Black Beauties, a little bit smaller, but they do have this nice coloration. They're very similar in taste, in my opinion, but I like them both. So we're going to start these approximately, we're about 8 to 9 weeks ahead of what we're going to hope to plant for our growing season. So we're going to want to plant them this early, get them established. Where I am particularly, I'm a little cooler than even 15, 20 minutes down the road just because of my elevation. So I'm usually about a week behind everybody else. I still try to get them so friends and whoever else, if they want some of them, they can plant them in their garden at that time too. All right, so I'll show you kind of what we're doing. You can see I have the cups already full, some of them here. This is just a potting mix. It's got some fertilizer or something in it, I believe it said. But it's just a regular potting mix. It's got flumiculite just to hold some moisture, compost, your standard, buy it at the store, Lowe's, Home Depot, Target, Garden Center, anywhere like that. What I did was I added water. I wanted it kind of a ball consistency so I can kind of squeeze it, but it can still break apart. It's not really packy or dripping wet. So from there, we're just going to fill our cups up and plant our seeds. We're going to put some, as you can see, these cups, they're not right up to the top. We want a little bit lower. We'll put seeds in them, sprinkle a little bit over top, but we want it a little lower so when it compacts, it also can hold a little bit more moisture. And that way we can also, pick them up easily and move them if we needed to, so on and so forth, without disturbing the soil or eventually the root base. What we're going to do is just take our cup. We are going to come through. I'm just scooping it nice and easy in there. I'm just going to gently pack it down. You can shovel, spade. It's a little messier when you do it with your hand, but that works too. So I'm just gently packing it down just to get any type of air bubbles out of it. I'm not packing it and mashing it in. I'm just firming it up. So we're just going to continue to do that along. All right, so you can see we just mixed up a second batch here. We're going to, go through quite a bit of this. Just enough water to make it packy, but break it down again. You kind of saw nothing special, just add a little bit of water, moisten that up. What that's going to do is create us from having a problem with not enough moisture in it. Also potting soil or, a lot of those type of soils, they come a little dry. They are in a bag, so on and so forth. But what happens is a lot of times people put it in their packages and they pack it in. It's nice and good. Then they put their seeds in and water it, and it doesn't take water. You either soaks right up and runs right through it. It stays dry and doesn't actually take water, or it floods out the seed and doesn't actually, you know, let the seed grow because it's either not taking it or it's too moist. So what we're doing is we're moistening it now. That way when we do go to water it, which is not going to be a ton when they're germinating and small seedlings, but that way it's going to already retain water. It's not going to need as much watering, but it will stay nice and moist to help those seeds germinate. Like I said, we have a bunch of different varieties of seeds today, but that's why we mix that a little bit wetter. Okay, so we're going to start out with some Black Beauty eggplant. I am going to plant 2 of the eggplants per cup. There's a few reasons behind this. You can plant more, but the biggest thing is with any of this is germination. Germination is not guaranteed. So what you're going to do is we can always put 2 in. If both grow, great. If only one grows, okay. And if neither one of them grow, we can always replant that cup. But we'll give it a few weeks before we do that. So, but if both grow, what you can do is go through and either thin them, or what I will end up doing with these is if they both grow, I'll split them and I'll put, you know, I'll just put them in a bigger pot as they get bigger, and I can split them, and then I'll have double my eggplant for the same amount of start space with these cups. The nice part about these are you can get them out of the cup, and when you go to split them, you just take the hose, wash them out, and what they will do is wash all the dirt out of the roots, and you can continue with that splitting the roots apart. I'll show you that maybe if we get to that point in a later video, but for now, we're just going to focus on actually getting them started. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking this pencil, nothing fancy, regular pencil. I go down about a little more than a quarter of an inch. So by the time you poke it down, and you usually get to the top of that sharpened area, that's about your quarter of an inch. I can kind of eyeball it. Being in the trades, you kind of know that. You're working around tape measures and materials that are certain thicknesses all the time. You really can eyeball it pretty good, but if we can't, then that's okay too. It's not that critical, but you want to give your seeds enough depth in the water to have moisture in the soil, to have a little stability, and you don't want them too deep, otherwise they will not grow or not germinate, for one. Too shallow, they'll dry out real quick, and they'll either die off or won't germinate because they're too shallow and they dried out too quick. So now all I'm doing here is, you can see, taking the back of the pencil, you can still see the seed. I'm just scraping a little bit of dirt over top, dirt, soil, whatever you'd like to call it. I know somebody would never call it dirt. You always call it soil. So we're just going to scrape it over and pat it down. That's those. The nice part is about with the solo cups is you can take the Sharpie and write right on the cup itself. For me, I mean, I can pull the cup out, see what it is. I'll kind of know. Or, I mean, I just happen to have these little tags that stick in the cup. I like to just write what they are. I'll do a quantity of 6 cups. So up here, I'll just put 6, and I'll put an arrow there. I know I'm not a very organized person, but this will show me that those 6, you know, that we just did, if I put it in this one, the arrow shows that from that one on are all the same on this side. That's just the way I do it. It works good enough for me. You do it any way you like, though. And this process just gets repeated with pretty much every seed type.